Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So, guys, we're back with the last session of your descriptive English portion for RBI Grade B, Phase 2 for the year 2023. And I hope the preparations are going well, and I hope all of you are doing all of you are giving your best for your preparation and your journey ahead. So guys, keep up the good work, keep on working hard for your endeavors, and I'm sure you will come out with flying colors. So guys, kindly give me a confirmation in the chat box if I'm audible and if I'm visible to everyone. And before we move any further, I think, yeah, I think we're live. So kindly give me a confirmation in the chat box nonetheless. And thank you, Vinci. And guys, don't forget to like the session. Don't forget to share it. I know you all watch these sessions, but very few of you remember to like it. So guys, there's a lot of effort behind these sessions. So make sure that you like the session and you do share it if you want to, so that it may reach someone out there who really needs it. Right. So thank you so much, guys. And good morning, everyone. Good morning, Surbi. Good morning, Vinci, and all of you who are there. So guys, before we begin the session, I would like to inform you about the comprehensive RBI Grade B guide, the book that you need to prepare for your exam. So this is a complete guide to prepare for your RBI Grade B manager exam. And in this book, you'll find all the strategies for your exam, all the sources for your exam, and the previous year questions for this particular paper, that is RBI Grade B. So guys, if you want to download this book, you can scroll in the description of the video. The link is given, and this book is definitely going to be very, very helpful for your preparation, for your journey ahead. So this tells you a lot about what the organization and how the organization works, and what it is all about. So go download the ebook right now, and you can get benefited by this book. So this is a very helpful book. So don't forget to don't forget to download it. Don't forget to use it. So that was about the comprehensive guidebook that we have compiled for you, and we would love to bring it out to you to help you in your journey ahead. So let's begin, guys. The agenda for today's session is, first of all, I'll discuss with you the previous year questions for reading comprehension for the year 2021. I think in the first session I discussed with you the previous year paper for 2022. Today we will be looking at the RC passage for 2021, right? Then we will discuss live answer writing. So we'll solve a passage right here, and we'll try to see what could be what could be good answers for those reading comprehension and how to frame your answers. And then I also have a homework comprehension passage for you, so don't leave the session as of now, and don't forget to like the session, guys. I'm saying this again, so whosoever watches this session maybe later on, don't forget to like it, don't forget to share it, and if you're new to the channel, do subscribe to our channel so that you can get benefited from it. And if you want the PDFs of this of these sessions, you can join a Telegram group, the link for which has been given in the description of the video. So let's begin, guys. So this was the passage for the year 2021. So let's read it together and let's see what we can solve and what were the questions that were given. So I've always told you to to read the questions first, right? So the question number 1, what does doctrine of agorism mean in the passage? So we have to find out what is the meaning of the doctrine of agorism. Then briefly explain the difference between counter economy and counter economics. So we have to find the difference between counter economy and counter economics. Third, what are the two pillars of counter economics? So what are the two pillars of counter economics? Again, important question. Then what does the doctrine of agorism claim? And differentiate between vertical and horizontal theories of doctrine. I think you can't see those questions, but we'll discuss that, right? So let's jump into the passage and let's see what the passage is all about. So I don't know what agorism means. So let's read it and let's try to figure out the answers, right? Which is forbidden by the state. So what is counter economy? Counter economy is the sum of all non-aggressive human action, which is for altruistic strategies to liberate people from this. How to break free vertically through the decentralized infrastructure. For free communities, avoiding the state and its centralized solutions altogether. The other recipe advocates breaking free horizontally through making use of one's personal network of friends and colleagues and doing business out of state's reach. Now, one might also call these recipes or strategies the introvert or extrovert solutions to our methodological problem. So, that's basically your algorithm. Counter economics. The vertical or introverted strategy. So let's discuss the first strategy. The vertical or the introverted strategy is aimed towards individuals concentrating on decentralized local infrastructure as opposed to expansive state foundations. So the vertical strategy is aimed towards individuals concentrating on decentralized local infrastructure as opposed to expansive state foundations. What this means in real terms is to create local or neighborhood networks for self-reliance, where people in the vicinity get together to find ways to produce whatever is necessary for survival and a good life. It means creating local production facilities and markets with no effective state regulations and without the state's knowledge. So that is vertical strategy. Now the horizontal or the extroverted strategy applies individuals actively creating black market network following unnecessary government regulations and controls. Most people don't really care about government standards if they trust their supplier. So this passage was about algorithm, guys. People who feel that state is always the culprit, they're always slash way of breaking away from the government. Now there are two theories that have been discussed here. One is vertical, that is introverted theory, and one is horizontal, that is extroverted. In vertical, you basically deal with people who are in your vicinity, who are your relatives or neighbors, whereas horizontal strategy discusses people or includes people beyond that boundary, where people create black or gray market, right? And that's where the trade is done. But the whole point is to avoid taxes, right? To basically break away from the state-run infrastructure. So that was about your algorithm. So let's look at the answers now. Now, what does doctrine of algorithm mean in the passage? Briefly explain the difference between counter economy and counter economics. And what are the two pillars of counter economics that have been discussed? Now, what does the doctrine of algorithm claim, and differentiate between vertical and horizontal theories of the doctrine? So let's look at the sample solutions for these questions, guys. Now, what could be sample solutions, sample answers to these questions? Algorithm is a free market, anarchist political philosophy that believes that the ultimate goal as bringing about a society in which all relations between people are voluntary exchanges, a free market. So basically, what does the doctrine of algorithm mean? It means it's a free market, anarchist political philosophy that believes the ultimate goal as bringing about a society in which all relations between people are voluntary exchanges, which is basically called a free market. Now, agorist theory divides people into two classes: people who make their living through the market, and people who make their living by coercing others, called the economic class and political class, respectively. Right, they support a non-violent overthrow of the second class by the first through peaceful black market and grey market activity known as counter economics. So very well expressed. So see, this is how you need to frame your answers in your own words, in your own inference. So we don't need to copy anything from the passage. We need to find out the context of the passage and then present our answer in our own word. So that is the whole point. So what is the doctrine of algorithm? Algorithm means free market approach, where economic class is basically overthrowing the political class by economic class is basically dividing the people into a market where they are not following the state sponsored tax regime, and that is called counter economics. Second question, guys, briefly explain the difference between counter economy and counter economics. Now, the counter economy is the sum of all non-aggressive human action which is forbidden by the state. Counter economics is the study of counter economy and its practices. See, the counter economy includes the free market, the black market, and the underground economy, which basically include all acts of civil and social disobedience, all acts of forbidden association, and anything else the state at any place or time chooses to prohibit, control, regulate, tax, or tariff. The counter economy excludes all state approved action, which is basically the white market, and the red market, which basically includes violence and theft not approved by the state. So the difference between counter economy, Counter economy is basically creating, so this is the part which was given in the passage. So what could be a logical answer? So counter economy is basically an ecosystem where, where human beings interact with each other or trade with each other, where, state participation is not included. And study of counter economy is called counter economics, right? And all its practices. So counter economy basically, it includes all the free market, black market, gray market, underground economy, where you don't have to pay any taxes, and where all acts of social and civil disobedience, all acts of forbidden association, and anything else that state chooses to prohibit, control, or regulate, or tax. Now anything you do to counter that, that is called counter economics. Next question, guys. What are the two pillars of counter economics? Now, counter economics applies two basic strategies to liberate people from the state. The first recipe provides instructions for how to break freely vertically through building a decentralized infrastructure for free communities, avoiding the state and its centralized solutions altogether. The other recipe advocates breaking free horizontally through making use of one's personal network of friends and colleagues and doing business out of the state's reach. One might also call these recipes or strategies the introvert and extrovert solutions to our methodological problem. So how you can frame this answer? Now, counter economics basically applies to two theories of agorism. It basically postulates that the correct method of achieving a voluntary society where people can interact with each other or trade with each other is through advocacy and growth of gray economy and black market or black economy. So this is basically called counter economy, and counter economy can be pushed by two ways. Right, we discussed that through vertical and through horizontal strategies, until a point where states' perceived authority, or where they are hindering, let's say, any voluntary economics. So until that is avoided and outright power has been so thoroughly undermined that revolutionary market or anarchist legal and security enterprises are able to arise from underground and ultimately suppress government as a criminal activity. Right, whereas basically tax being considered as theft and war is considered as mass murder. And last question, differentiate between vertical and the horizontal theories of the doctrine. Now, the vertical or the introverted strategy is aimed towards individuals concentrating on decentralized local infrastructure as opposed to expansive state foundations, and explained as self-reliance, such as creating local production facilities and markets with no effective state regulations and without the state's knowledge. And second is the horizontal or extroverted strategy applies individuals actively creating black market networks and structures which can be stretched beyond neighborhood communities. Focus on vertical strategy. It basically proposes is to trade with people you know and people who are recommended to you. This can all be done at whatever scale one finds appropriate using available technologies such as the internet. Right. So this was the passage that was given in the previous year exam in the year 2021 in RBI Grade B. So I wanted to show you what sort of passages you may face and what sort of questions you might have to draft there. So now let's start with live practice writing today, guys, and I want all of you to be receptive today. I want all of you to participate in this, and I want all of you to give your inputs. I want you to participate in this, and that is how we can really get benefited from these sessions. So guys, are you ready? Kindly give me a confirmation in the chat box. Are you prepared for this? I think you all are. Yes, right. So alright guys, so let's first read the questions. As I've always told you, first read the questions and then read the passage so that you know what you have to look for, and then you are able to locate your answers as you go along, right? Alright, so question number 1, according to the passage, what can be said about the next variant of COVID virus? So guys, the question number 1 is, according to the passage, what can be said about the next variant of COVID virus? Okay. According to the passage, what can be done to prevent such infections? So what can be done to prevent such infections? That has to be looked for. Then according to the passage, what is the view of WHO on next variant? So what is the World Health Organization, what is its view on the next variant? And according to the passage, what can be inferred about the new variants of COVID virus? All right, so I think the passage is about COVID virus and the new variants that can be seen. Right, so let's read the passage, let's find the answers. So what are the questions? What can be said about the next variant? What can be done to prevent such infections? What is the view of WHO? And what can be inferred about the new variants of COVID virus? All right, so let's read the passage, guys. As we step into the third year of the pandemic, the scientists are constantly studying the coronavirus to understand what can emerge next, and many are worried that the next COVID variant might emerge not from humans but from animals. So even after 3 years of pandemic, scientists are constantly studying the virus and they're trying to understand what can emerge next, and many are worried that the next COVID variant might emerge not from humans but from animals. Now, researchers are monitoring animals both to try to identify any new pandemic causing viruses and to try to identify the next COVID-19 variant. So researchers are monitoring animals both to try to identify any new pandemic causing virus or to try and identify the next COVID-19 variant as well. Next, there are hundreds, thousands of coronavirus in many animal species. So please focus on this, guys. There are hundreds, thousands of coronavirus in many animal species. Taubenberg, Deputy Chief of the Laboratory of Infectious Disease at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, NIAID, as quoted by ABC News. We don't really know where they all are. We don't know the full extent of the reservoir. We don't know what the risks are. Coronavirus has infected minks, hamsters. So they have affected these two species, hamsters and minks. In North America, it has affected wild white-tailed deer, and as it infects more species, it continues to evolve constantly. Now, researchers are wondering whether it might infiltrate even more species than it is known to, and then move back to humans, bringing new and dangerous COVID variants. So this is, I think, your answer for question number 2. And this was your answer for question number 1. So now, how can you protect and what can be done to protect from that? So this is question number 1. This is, I think, question number 3. But let's see. If the virus is able to infect other species, it will evolve differently, said Taubenberg. It could give us a variant that is very different from what we have been exposed to. So if the virus is able to infect other species, right, it will evolve differently, and said this scientist, and it could give us a variant that is very different from what we've been exposed to. With COVID infecting more species and evolving to be fitter than before, experts are now focusing on developing a universal COVID vaccine that can protect against more variants. Yes, that is your answer for question number 2 or 3, I think, whichever it was. So with the COVID infecting more species and evolving to be fitter than before, experts are now focusing on developing a universal COVID vaccine that can protect against more variants. Now, scientists at the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research have been working on developing such a universal vaccine, which is currently undergoing the first phase of human trials. So scientists are trying and are developing a universal vaccine, right, which is currently undergoing the first phase of human trials. This universal vaccine would include multiple coronavirus fragments that could trigger immune responses to different strains of COVID-19 with the hopes of boosting immunity against more variants, the ABC News report said. Right. Let's read further. The next COVID-19 variant will definitely be more contagious than Omicron. Oh, that's really scary. So the next COVID-19 variant will definitely be more contagious than Omicron, but the real question is whether or not it will be more deadly. So it will be more contagious, but the question is whether it will be more deadly. World Health Organization pointed out. So that is the question. Now, previously, Maria Van Kerkhove, WHO's COVID-19 technical lead, said the next variant of concern will be more fit. That is, it will be more transmissible because it will have to overtake what is currently circulating. However, the big question is whether or not the future variants will be more or less severe. That is the real question. There is no guarantee of that. We hope that is the case, but there is no guarantee of that, and we can't bank on it. The next iteration of COVID may also evade vaccine protections. even more, making the existing vaccines even less effective, she pointed out. So guys, this is really a cause of concern. But see, it was a passage, so we have to look at objectively. Let's look at the answers now, guys, and please try to share your inputs with me. Now, question number 1. According to the passage, what can be said about the next variant of COVID virus? What can be said about it? So first thing is, the next COVID variant might emerge not from humans but from animals. Yes. So they are now, researchers are monitoring animals, and they are trying to identify new pandemic causing virus, and they're trying to identify the next COVID-19 variant from that, right? So what can be said about the next variant? There are thousands of coronavirus in many animal species, right? So we don't really know where they all are. We don't know the full extent of the reservoir. We don't know what the risks are. So it is affecting many animals in different parts of the world, right? And potentially then it can move back to humans, potentially bringing new and dangerous COVID variants. So that was the answer for COVID for question number 1. So let's look at the answer, guys. Yes, what should be the answer for this? The first point is, what can be said about the new variant? It can be said that it will emerge not from humans but from animals this time. So the next variant will emerge not from humans but from animals. That is point for number 1. Yes, very good. What other, guys? What else? The other point was, and it can be said because as many animal species have been affected by COVID in different parts of the world, in different areas, right, or different parts of the world. And the cause of concern is the virus. The scientists are no, what was said? The scientists are they're trying animals. It is assumed that the next variant will evolve and enter back into humans through animals. So that can be said about next variant or next COVID variant, right? Now question number 2. What can be done to prevent such infections? Now guys, what was the answer here? Yes, so with COVID infecting more species and evolving to be fitter than before, experts are now focusing on developing a universal vaccine that can be the only way. Now, scientists at this institute have been working on developing such a universal vaccine, which is undergoing first human phase trials. Now, the universal vaccine would include multiple in first phase of human trials, and the aim is to let's say encompass more variants of the virus. The aim is to encompass more variants of the virus and boost immunity to fight against them, right? So we can build up our answer on these 3 points. So that was about boosting the guys, is it better now? Yes, all right. So I was discussing the second question. What can be done regarding this to protect against such infections? So a universal vaccine needs to be developed for protection against multiple variants of COVID. One such vaccine is in first phase of human trial. We can write one more sentence there, and the aim is to encompass more variants of the virus under this vaccine and boost immunity to fight against them, right? So that could be a viable solution for second question. Let's look at third question. According to the passage, what is the view of WHO on next variant? So I think it was given somewhere around here. Yeah, this is the third answer. The next COVID-19 variant will definitely be more contagious than Omicron. So that is the first point. So the first point is WHO believes that the next variant will be more contagious than the previous variants. Yeah, Surbhi, that can be or it cannot. It's not sure. It can be or it cannot be. But something that is confirmed, that is, it is going to be more contagious. But the real question is whether it will not, whether or not it will be more deadly. Whether or not it will be more deadly. So now we can put it out. But the cause of concern is the uncertainty of the next variant uh, uncertainty of the next variant being more deadly than the previous or not, right? So this is clearly mentioned. Now said that the next variant of concern will be more fit. It will be more transmissible because it will have to overtake what is currently circulating. Yes. So now you can elaborate on the same lines. It is assumed that the next variant will be more communicable. That means more transmissible. I'm just using synonyms to create originality. So it is assumed that the next variant will be more communicable as it would need to overcome all previous variants and be more, what was given? Be more fit. Right. So the concern is if it will be more deadly or not. So that can be put in your question. Right. Now, question number 4. According to the passage, what can be inferred about the new variants of COVID virus? All right. So it can be said the next iteration of COVID may also evade vaccine protections or even more, making the existing vaccines even less effective. So what can be inferred about the new variants of COVID virus? Now we have to again reiterate the same thing. Yes, guys, would you like to help me out here? Obviously, it will be, emerge from animals. It may be more critical. It may challenge the previous vaccines. Right? It will be more contagious. It will definitely be more contagious. It will definitely be more contagious. Yes. It may or may not be more deadly, and hopefully not. But we can't just sit idle, so we would need there would be a need to develop a universal vaccine after studying all the variants that have gone through animals and humans. So I think if we write 5-6 sentences, so I think that would do justice to these questions. So guys, basically now you would understand what needs to be done when you are framing your answers in reading comprehension passage. Is it clear to everyone, guys? So guys, this is how you need to develop your answers when you are sitting in the exam. So guys, see, I told you there are a couple of things that you need to understand. First, you need to be able to complete all the answers. Second, you need to be original in your articulation. You can't copy and paste. Yes, Vinci, it needs to be in paragraph. I have just written the key points of the whole passage. Now you can create sentences around it, right? So we don't need to write it in bullet points. I just wrote it, just to highlight the points that you need to use in your answer. Yes, it will be in paragraphs. So that is how you draft your answers. You create your answers in the passage, guys, in the paper, right? So I also have some, I have some answers for these questions. So let's see if we were thinking on the right lines, right? So the question number 1, what can be said about the next variant of COVID? As per the passage, the next COVID variant might emerge from the animals. True, we said that. Researchers are now focusing more on animals rather than humans, and they are studying the animals more deeply. Right. However, there are concerns that we don't exactly know much how much the virus has spread among the animals. Also, tracking those animals is difficult. Different studies have suggested that the virus has spread among minks and hamsters. Also, in North America, it has spread among the wild white-tailed deer. Therefore, there is a possibility that the strong new variant might again enter into human population. See, this is elaboration, right? Question number 2, what can be done to prevent such infections? As per the passage, the universal vaccine to tackle the future COVID variants is the need of the hour. The universal vaccine will consist of fragments of different variants of COVID, which will trigger the immunity response for different variants, and it will make the universal vaccine more effective. However, there is still a doubt about this universal vaccine because the next variants of the COVID could be worse and lethal, which might make this vaccine ineffective. The next variant would also be more transmissible, so we need to be sure about this universal vaccine to protect the people at least at some level. All right. We also wrote on the same line, he added this one point that it can be more deadly. it will be more transmissible and it can be more deadly, right? Let's look at the next answer. What is the view of WHO on the next variant? As per the WHO, the next COVID variant would be stronger and transmissible from the past variants. That is true. The future variants have to be stronger and fitter to breach the immunity response of the people. However, the WHO is not sure about the severity of the future variants. As per the WHO, no one can be 100% sure about the behavior of the future variants. It might also make the current vaccines less effective. Therefore, we can say that we can only be prepared for COVID strains, but won't be able to predict about them. So good answer. And then according to the passage, what can be inferred about the new variants of COVID virus? As per the passage, COVID with the stronger strain might come back into human population. Such a variant could be more lethal than Omicron. It could also be stronger, fitter and more transmissible. Also, we won't be able to predict about the severity of this variant. It could be dangerous or it could not be. Therefore, to tackle this new variant, the team of researchers are trying to make a universal vaccine which would contain fragments of all the earlier variants, making our immunity stronger. So guys, yes, this is how you draft your answers, finding out the key points of the passage and then framing your answer on the same line. So that is what needs to be done in this, right? So guys, have you understood the logic behind creating reading comprehension answer? It has to be original. It has to be presented in your own way of articulation, and it should be elaborated, right? It needs elaboration. So there were 4 questions for I think 30 or 40 marks. So you have to write around 80 to 100 words per answer. Got it, guys? So guys, how was the session? Please do let me know if all these sessions were helpful for your preparation. And if you have any doubts, if you have any queries regarding descriptive English, please ask, because this is the last session. And this was a 12 lecture series, and today is the last session of this series. So if you haven't watched the previous sessions, you can watch the sessions on essay writing, pressy writing. And these last few sessions were on reading comprehension. And before we end the session, I would like to give you a homework passage. And I did ask you to write the homework answers for the previous homework, but I think none of you did that. I think you're busy with your preparation for phase 1. I think that's the reason I could find, but still, that's perfectly all right. So this is the homework passage. You can get this passage in the PDF of the session, and the PDF of this session will be provided on the Telegram group. The link for the Telegram group is given in the description of the video below. So just click on the arrow button and you'll see a few links. The very bottom link is for Telegram group, and in that group you'll find the PDFs of all these sessions and many such more. So guys, how was the session? How was the series? Was it beneficial for you or not? Please do share your inputs with us, and do let us know if you benefited from this series. And don't forget to like the session, guys. Don't forget to share it, because that is the least you can do for all the efforts that we are putting in for you, right? So please do share your honest feedback with us. Do let us know if we were able to highlight your your queries, if we were able to help you in this journey, and if you learned something new, if you have started preparing better. So please do tell us about it. That's okay, Vinci. Yes, Surbi, that's absolutely correct. And the answers are to be based on the basis of the passage. See, in Pressy, you can't use as per the passage. But in reading comprehension, yes, you can use as per the passage. This is what has been conveyed. Thank you, Sahil. Thank you so much for the kind words. And I've also provided you, sample answers, but don't look at the answers before you frame your own answers on the passage. Right, guys? And if you have any doubts, if you have any queries, you can call us on this number during the office hours. That is 8146207241. Or you can also drop us your feedback emails. You can drop us your feedbacks on hello@edutap.co.in. And if you want to check out our courses, the links are given in the description of the video, or this is our address, website, www.edutap.co.in, and you can go check out our courses for RBI Grade B and many other such exams. Thank you so much, guys, for your patience and for your, for the time that you've spent with us. We really feel lucky and we feel blessed to have such receptive students. and the whole intention of this series was to help you out proactively before phase 1, so that you can start preparing for your descriptive English part at this stage, so that after phase 1 it does not become a burden for you. So that is why we took it up proactively this time, and this was a 12 lecture series, so you can watch all the 12 lectures and you can get benefited from it. And this series is definitely going to give you a lot to learn from and a lot to practice from, right? So I hope we were able to do justice to your time and we were able to serve you better. So please do share your inputs, your constructive feedbacks with us about the sessions, about the YouTube sessions that we laid out for you, and I hope we were able to support you in your endeavors. So thank you so much, Bhuvan, Surbi, and everyone who is watching these sessions regularly. And guys, the last thing, this was the last session of this series, Sahil. There we already have taken 10 more, I think 10 or 11 more sessions before this. 4 sessions for essay writing, then 4 sessions for essay writing, and then this was the 4th session for reading comprehension. So this is not the last series. We will try to start it again after phase 1. But for phase 2, this is the last session for us. So thank you so much for your keen inputs, for your kind words. And guys, I wish you all the success in your endeavors ahead. Keep up the good work. And this is the last stretch. Just stay focused, be positive in your mindset, and have a good headspace. If you do that, I think you will come out with flying colors, and I can be sure about it. So just be positive. If you want to contact us, if you want to talk to us, if you want to share your share anything or ask anything, you have the channels to communicate with us. You can call us on this number, or you can drop your query on the email address given on your screen. That is hello@edutap.co.in. And we would love to help you out at any stage of this exam. So you can trust us, and you can put your faith in us. So thank you so much for this receptiveness, for this gratitude, and I wish you all the success in your endeavors ahead. Keep up the good work, guys, and happy learning to all of you. Thank you. I'll see you soon, and all the very best for your phase 1 and phase 2 exams.